Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brian. I'm a former musician turned banker turned investor and entrepreneur and the author of Passive-ish Income, a newsletter that I send every week for free about how to make more money in less time. Today, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite investing strategies that I'm going to continue pursuing in 2024, and that is Section 8 real estate investing. In this video, we're going to cover three topics. What is Section 8? How to find your first Section 8 rental property, and what kind of returns you can expect when investing in Section 8. Let's dive in. So first things first, what is Section 8? Section 8 refers to the U.S. Housing Act of 1937, and Section 8 refers specifically to Section 8 within that bill. This piece of legislation was passed in response to the Great Depression, which led to a national housing crisis, and Section 8 of this act outlined the government's plan to address this issue. While we refer to it as Section 8, the technical term that we're going to be talking about today are housing choice vouchers, but more on that in a minute. So now that you have a very brief overview of what Section 8 is and where it comes from, let's talk about how it works today. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD for short, distributes funds to what are called PHAs, which stands for Public Housing Agencies. These PHAs then take those funds and use them to distribute what are called housing choice vouchers. Once someone qualifies for and receives one of these vouchers, they can use these vouchers to pay their rent. And the way these work is the government will subsidize a large majority or sometimes all of the person's rent and pay that money to the landlord or the property manager via direct deposit every month. This is what makes Section 8 really attractive for landlords compared to traditional investing in real estate, because you're getting your payments on time every month from the government, and they always pay their bills. And if a tenant is falling behind on their bills, you're not chasing after a $1,000 or $1,500 check. You're chasing after something smaller, typically in the $100 to $300 range. All of this makes Section 8 income much more predictable than traditional rental investing income. So now that you know what Section 8 is and how it works at a high level, let's talk about how to find your first Section 8 property. As you might have already noticed, it's a little confusing to talk about a Section 8 property because what we're really looking for is a Section 8 tenant, someone who already has been approved for one of these housing choice vouchers. That also means that your search isn't as restrictive as you might think. You can take literally any property and rent it out to someone who's in Section 8. So when it comes to finding a property that I want to invest in for Section 8, I focus much more on the details about the property and worry about finding the Section 8 tenant later. Now, when I look for a property, I look at three factors: price, location, and condition. So when it comes to price, I typically like to look for deals between $60,000 to $100,000. Why that range? That's specific to me. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. In order to close a deal that's somewhere between $60,000 to $100,000, I typically have to put in around $20,000 to $25,000 all in, including closing costs. That's an amount that at least I know personally I can save up over a relatively short period of time, and I can keep these deals going multiple times per year. Additionally, the mortgages on these properties are very small. I have some mortgages that are as low as $450 per month, and I have some that are as high as $750 per month. So if one of my units goes vacant, I don't need to worry about where my next $1,500 mortgage payment is going to come from. I'm only on the hook for somewhere in the $450 to $750 range, and that's a lot easier for me to stomach for a longer period of time. Say if the unit goes vacant for 2 months, 3 months. Those bigger mortgage payments on these $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 or more dollar deals will really start to hit after about 2 to 3 months of vacancy. Now let's talk location. And one of the most important things I want to share with you is that the property you're investing in does not have to be in the same state that you live in. And in my opinion, it's actually easier to invest out of state. The main reason I find it easier to invest out of state is you don't have to do anything in person. Of course, depending on the investor, you may want to have that ability to go view the property in person, to go inspect it yourself. I prefer to rely on a team of trusted professionals to help me through that process, so I don't need to be there in person. Additionally, because I don't need to be there in person, it makes the buying process much more scalable. I can get deals closed without needing to worry about the logistics of being there in person. The specific location that I like to invest in currently is Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let me tell you a little bit about why I picked Tulsa, Oklahoma. As we all know, the property market is sky high right now, and there's no sign that it's coming down anytime soon, even with mortgage rates as high as they are right now. At the same time, I don't want to invest in really out of the way areas that are far from metropolitan areas, and it's like 30, 40, 50 minutes to the nearest grocery store. So when looking at different areas to invest in, I looked at a bunch of different metrics such as population growth, average income, and I also looked at what I call tertiary markets. I think of these markets as areas where properties are located slightly on the outskirts but still within a friendly driving distance of a large metropolitan area. I also picked Tulsa, Oklahoma because there are a lot of properties on the market. There are still lots of deals that you can do in this area. Other cities that I've looked at and I would recommend checking out are Cleveland, Ohio and Memphis, Tennessee for some of the same reasons I mentioned about Tulsa, Oklahoma. And last but certainly not least, you want to keep in mind the condition of the property. I prefer to invest in properties that are fairly turnkey. Turnkey means that you don't need to do anything major to the property. I don't know about you, but I personally am not an expert in rehab. I haven't done a lot of those rehab heavy deals. So I would prefer to spend a little bit of extra money and not make as much potential upside and just be able to buy the property and start renting it and start realizing that cash flow ASAP. Of course, it's impossible to find a property that's completely turnkey. Most of the properties that I've bought into will typically need around 5 to 10% of the purchase price in initial maintenance. And another thing to consider is that there are strict rules and regulations around Section 8 property. They need to pass a certain test in terms of living conditions and basic amenities, and it can cost a little bit of extra money to get your property to meet those standards. But like I said, in all the deals I've done, it's typically anywhere between 5 and 10% of the purchase price in terms of initial costs, and not all properties need that much cost up front. So we've covered what Section 8 is, how it works, and how to find your first property. Let's talk about the returns, and I'm going to use my own numbers as an example. This isn't meant to be a representation of what you will get because these numbers are with properties I've been accumulating over the past 2 years, and markets are changing almost by the day between interest rates and property prices. So one of my deals I did recently was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I paid about $75,000 for the property. All in with closing costs up front, I put in about $22,000 in cash. The mortgage on this property is about $500 per month. Keep in mind, I did close this deal when interest rates were a little bit lower than they are today. So on the same deal, the monthly mortgage would probably be closer to the $650, maybe as high as the $700 range. I also pay a property manager that I found in the area that I know and trust and do good business with about $100 a month to manage everything for me. That covers everything in terms of upfront costs and monthly costs. And through Section 8, this property is rented out for $1,100 per month. So every month I cash flow about $500 like clockwork. Of course, that's not a net profit number because there will be costs related to vacancy and maintenance, but you can see from a cash flow perspective, these deals can be very attractive. When you calculate an annual return on those $500 compared to the $22,000 I put in, I'm making almost a 25% annual return, which is a lot better than the average 7% annual return you can get in the stock market. And that doesn't even count appreciation. Since I purchased this property, the value has gone up about $20,000 or around 27%. This is why turnkey Section 8 rental properties are my favorite investment strategy, hands down, and it's why I'm going to be doubling down on Section 8 in 2024. That wraps up our video. In this video, we covered what is Section 8, how to find your first Section 8 property, and what kind of returns you can expect when investing in Section 8 based on my own numbers. As with any investment strategy, there are risks and rewards. My story was a successful one. That doesn't mean every Section 8 deal is going to be successful. But in my opinion, for someone just starting out and looking to cash flow on a property very early on, I think Section 8 is a great strategy to start out on. And that's coming from someone who started out in Section 8. If you're just starting out or even an experienced investor who's interested in investing in Section 8, I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any experiences you'd like to share or any questions about getting started, I'd love to see those in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on real estate and other investing strategies. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you when I see you.